Hey guys, how's it going? It's Leon here. Today I want to talk about how you could overcome social anxiety if this is what you have. It's something that I've experienced in my life. In fact, I've had severe social anxiety and also work with clients who have social anxiety as well. So I know that there is an overall mindset that is helpful when it comes to overcoming social anxieties. So I know that there's many different kind of techniques that you could use to help with social anxiety. There's different strategies that could be helpful that help you to be able to talk with people in a comfortable kind of manner. But the thing I really want to focus most here is on the mindset, because when you get the mindset down, everything else comes much more naturally. The mindset is much more important. In fact, if you focused on techniques, that is actually going to get you more and more enwrapped into your social anxiety. And I know from my own personal experience, because I'll describe my severe social anxiety from the past. When I was back in middle school, I'll be so anxious even just walking on the same sidewalk as somebody else. When I was living in my town, I'll be walking on a sidewalk and I'll be afraid to cross paths with someone else, that I'll switch over to the other sidewalk. I've also, even through high school, been afraid to talk with cashiers, so I wouldn't even go into the store because I'll be afraid to even talk with the cashier, because I know that, if you go shop, you're gonna have to buy something and then you have to talk with the cashier. So it's been really severe, and I'll share my social anxiety story. If you're interested in that, I have a link to that article down below. But anyway, I want to talk to you about what you could do. I need to sit down because I went on a sneezing fit. But right now, something that I find to be very powerful that I came across was this book called New Ways of Seeing. And I definitely recommend you check this out because it will show you how to reframe your life in such a way that you'll be more proactive and you'll be happier in it. But the main mindset, I think it's helpful for people with social anxiety, is to focus on connecting with others rather than status and separation. So I think it's very human to be worried about your own sense of status with others, social status, for example. It's a very human kind of thing to worry about, but I think people with social anxiety, it tends to manifest in a certain kind of way that makes them close up around people and makes them feel nervous within. I think when you're focused on status and separation, then your mind kind of starts to turn inwards and you start to focus on that, which makes you feel more self-conscious and not want to interact with people so much. And if you were to focus on connection, on the other hand, you just you're focusing more on the process, because connecting is a verb, right? You're not focused on things like status and separation. You're focused on this process called connecting. And how do you connect? And you connect by, first of all, just tuning into yourself and think about what you find fun yourself. And another way to connect with others is to be genuinely curious about them. So it's actually very straightforward. Because when you're focused on genuine curiosity, you're just really being curious about the other person, like wanting to learn and understand them. Therefore, your mind's not focused on things like status, for example, or on separation. If you're focused on fun, it's just really things that really bring yourself joy. So it's something that is very simple. When you think about status, then your mind starts to overcomplicate things and starts to think about techniques and how do I do this and how do I do that in order to impress the other person. You don't have to get into that kind of mindset. I find that my interactions are much more effective when I'm just focused very simply on connection and connecting and just being curious and just having fun, just making things a lot more simple. When you're around old friends you feel very comfortable with, the reason why you don't feel nervous is because you're just in tune with the conversation itself. You're just in tune on, oh, I'm just really happy about this person, or I am just really want to share what is fun for me, right? So if you're with people that you don't know, it may take some time to adapt into in the beginning, but you just try to just tell yourself, what's something I can learn from this person. And I feel like what's been really helpful for me is to have that kind of curiosity mindset, because I know that with every interaction, I'll gain something. I'll learn something like this. Every person has a rich history, and you'll always learn something from them. They're an expert in something. And then when I look at it that way, I always win, because I'm not focused on, whether I win or lose in terms of interaction. I'm just focused on, what can I learn from this person? And when you have that kind of mindset, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable. I think it's helpful for people with social anxiety to know that there are certain strengths that come with a tendency to be socially anxious. And I find this time and time working with people with social anxiety is often people with social anxiety, they tend to be sensitive and they tend to be thoughtful. And people appreciate these qualities. So if you could see the positive, then it helps to motivate you to be able to improve. Because if you're only at war with yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not going to be a very satisfying kind of journey when it comes to self-improvement. Another thing is that a lot of people with social anxiety, they tend to be perfectionistic, but there's a positive flip side to that. They're interested in personal growth. I think something that would help is to focus on improving rather than trying to prove yourself. When you're trying to prove yourself, you're going to get into that mental mindset of status, for example, or your separation from others. You're just kind of comparing, and that's not gonna help. Just focus on improving, getting better day by day. And when you do that, you're going to find that people are going to really appreciate the sensitiveness and also the thoughtfulness that you have, as well as your interest in improving yourself. So aside from the article I wrote in which I wrote about my story, I'm also going to post an article called How I Learned to Connect with Others Despite Social Anxiety. So I hope that you'll find these articles to be helpful. I have it in the comment section on YouTube or on IG or in the description box. Thanks so much for watching.